Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the graduation ceremony of the 2018 class of the Medical School for International Health. Could I ask you please to stand in honor of the academic procession? It is my pleasure to invite the graduating students of the 2018 class to take their places. And now, Professor Amos Katz, Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences. Professor Mark Clarfield, Director of the Medical School for International Health. Professor Tzvi HaKohen, Rector, and now the President of Ben Gurion University of the Negev, Professor Rivka Karmi. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, faculty members, students, families and friends, thank you all for honouring us with your presence. And a special welcome to those joining us through our webcast. Cameras here. I would like to invite the Director of MSIH, Professor Mark Clarfield, to make his opening remarks.
Thank you, Mike. He never gives me time to catch my breath from coming down those steep stairs, but I'll do my best. Professors Karmi, HaKohen, Katz, and of course our honored guest, Professor Pali Hunjan and his wife Barbara. Faculty, staff, friends, family, and our guests of honor, the class of 2018. This is your night. This is your night, and I don't normally talk about myself at this celebration. However, today I need to say a few personal words to you, and I ask that you bear with me. You may not be aware, but you are the 10th class that I have presided over, and my last one, because I will be retiring in November. And not to worry, someone even better than me is taking over, Professor Jodkowitz, whom student. And for those of you who know me well, I don't normally tend to express my emotions in public for two reasons. Number one, I'm a man, and two, I'm a Canadian, which is a fatal combination for expressing yourself in public. Although I know that you can look at the color of my socks, the Canadians, later if you wish. Still, I'd like to briefly express my overwhelming sense of pride relating to this evening's festivities. That being said, the word pride sometimes has negative connotations. So I looked it up in the dictionary, the Oxford English Dictionary, and the word pride, and it's relevant to global health, of course, that I found is, pride is defined as a group of lions forming a social unit. So I think that wasn't the right definition that I was worried about, so I'll move on to more standard ones. So instead of pride in the usual sense of the word, I actually prefer the Hebrew word nachat or nachas in Yiddish. And for those of you not familiar with either Hebrew or Yiddish, nachas is the exact opposite of that fine old English word schadenfreude, which is actually German for the less than laudable pleasure derived by someone from someone else's misfortunes. So if you know what schadenfreude is, the exact opposite is nachas. And it's really the sense that all you parents and family members have for your kid tonight. That's nachas, that's how you feel, and that's how I feel towards them. So I'm proud of you, the class of 2018, in the sense of the word nachas, and for all of your accomplishments while you've been here in Beersheba. For example, I recently had the privilege of helping organize and run the global health rotation that you just came back from. And I had the privilege of reading your blogs, all of the ones that were assigned to me and many others. And I was really impressed that you expressed yourself so compassionately, so intelligently, with so much humor and irony. And I think we saw deep into the experience that you had and deep into you. It was really a privilege. And I was so proud to read these things, as were the rest of the staff. Apart from the class, I'm also proud of our team at MSIH, each of them on both sides of the pond. The New York group, of course, where's Lynn? Is represented by Dr. Lynn Quittel, who is guilty of having accepted every one of you. So if anybody has any complaints about you, then please speak to Lynn after the ceremony. So I've been head of the school now for 10 years, and I do nothing on my own. Rather, I'm a bit like the conductor of an orchestra, and I'm proud of all of you, our staff, both the soloists and the ensemble players. Very few North American medical schools can boast a 100% match rate, which we have this year of those that applied. And that, of course, is a testament to the students, but it's also a testament to the staff that built this school. And for a moment, I would just like our staff to stand up so you could recognize them. Please, staff, stand up, just for a second. And I'm also proud to be a member of this faculty, run by Professor Katz, and our fine university, run by Rivka Karmi, and you'll hear more from them, both of them, shortly. What we have accomplished here in this fraught Middle East, in the middle of nowhere, in the periphery of Israel, is really nothing short of a miracle. And I honestly, honestly believe that with all my heart. And so I'm very, very proud to be part of this university that the rector, the dean, and the president run so well. But back to you, I've taken too long. Mike's going to kill me. We're proud of each and every one of you, as I said, but above all, you should be proud of yourselves. And I'm especially gratified that for the last class I'll ever graduate in my career, I've been allowed the privilege of sending you on your way tonight, the class of 2018. Mazal tov, congratulations. Actually, when someone like me claps, it's a bit like this guy Kim from Korea, right? From North Korea, those sort of dictators clap so I don't mean to be there. Okay, so it's my privilege to call upon Rivka Karmi, our president, and I say this every year, but every year it gets more and more true how much I admire her and like her and respect her. And it's not just me, I think it's anybody who works with her. She's the spirit of this school. She's built it. For the whole time that I've been here, she's been either the dean, the first woman dean of an Israeli medical school, or she's been my president, the first female president of an Israeli university. So, Professor Karmi.
Thank you, Mark. It was really kind of you. Rector Cohen, our guest of honor, Professor Pali Hanjin, Barbara, it was so nice to meet you last night. Thank you for coming here. Dean Katz, Professor Clarfield, Dr. Quittel, Professor Yudkovich, Professor Glick. Wonderful to have you all here. And of course, the families both here and abroad, our future students that I'm sure are watching us now on the internet, faculty and students, distinguished guests, and last but foremost, our very dear graduates, my young colleagues. Good evening and welcome, everybody. This graduation ceremony of the Medical School for International Health is one of the most exciting annual events at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, both on the institutional level, but specifically for me, on the personal level. I had the good luck and immense privilege to witness the development of the school from idea to realization. I was also teaching human genetics at a school for quite some years, so at the time I even had the pleasure that regretfully I do not have now of knowing the students personally. As I noted before, I was very fortunate to be a partner in the exciting journey that began 20 years ago, to implement a novel project in medical education by creating an MD program in international medicine and health. This endeavor was the first in its kind in the world and is still a unique and innovative educational model for teaching medicine in the era of globalization of the 21st century. Globalization has been a major goal of all universities in the world. Number of foreign students on campuses has become a central factor in ranking of universities. It has also contributed nicely to shrinking budgets of universities and colleges. But not too many universities have managed to create sustainable, active, and vibrant academic collaborations that involved, in the case of MSIH, the admission process, the teaching program, the clinical clerkships, evaluation, and more, thus making science and teaching really global and borderless. Many dedicated faculty members and administrative staff have and continue to put their hearts and souls into this important endeavor, and we are grateful to each and every one of them. However, it is to you, our dear graduates, that we owe maybe the largest part of the continuous growth and development of this special program that has now gained an international reputation in the world of medical education, because you came here with a strong conviction to make a difference, knowing the great adjustment that you will need to make in your own lives. Your personal experiences in a different culture and challenging environment have undoubtedly played a major role in your international and intercultural education and training. Global health is indeed about understanding the problems and needs of the other, and oftentimes the underprivileged, poor, and weakened. But it is also about accepting, appreciating, respecting of other cultures, different attitudes, strange beliefs. But isn't it, in fact, what medicine is all about? Last year, we had Dr. Javid Tukira, graduate of MSIH, as a guest speaker at the physician's oath ceremony of the entering class of 2021. Dr. Tukira, assistant professor of psychiatry and pediatrics at Western University, Ontario, Canada, explained how the best-intentioned physicians may have prejudices and preconceptions that can affect not only their patients, but also their own sense of value and purpose. And this is what he said about his experience and his eventual turnaround. Survival meant disconnecting for what it meant to be human. It seemed that the only way to honor my physician's oath was to be less than human. The tactic messages I received during my residency training were similar. Numb yourself, harden yourself, and protect yourself from feeling anything too deeply. Explaining the long road to self-awareness and to his research into the unconscious dimension of stigma and prejudice the doctors carry with them when dealing with patients, Dr. Tukira said, I was able to make the turnaround because of the training I received at MSIH. Here, unlike other schools, students are immersed in the humanistic side of medicine. The Ben-Gurion graduate learns to hold their patient's hand, look them in the eyes, and offer genuine emotion while speaking to them. It was because I was trained this way that I knew something was amiss with the person I have become. That's when I began to investigate. When I spoke to my same patients as a researcher instead of a physician, I quickly learned that no matter how well-intentioned we are, we do not always intend to say what our patients and their families hear. These patients and families shared that the more they get to see our humanity, the stronger their connection and the quality of their healthcare experience. What a powerful assertion that indeed, my dear colleagues, is consistent with the findings of many studies, showing a clear and powerful correlation between higher patient satisfaction scores and better health outcomes. Straightforward and simple, yet so not obvious. The world of medicine is rapidly changing, highly specializing, globally expanding, technologically advancing. Global and regional, political and social changes are bringing about health and medicine challenges related to immigration and refugee status, and you name it. Medical schools need to address all of this, but never, never lose the sight of what is most important, the patient. As asserted by Dr. Brian Neese, another graduate of our MSIH, in his book, Living and Dying in the Fourth Year. The vision of the founders of this school has given wings to people that see the patient as their prime professional obligation and commitment. Today, dear graduates, you are officially joining the medical profession that more than anything is a way of life and a lifelong commitment. You are also joining a growing body of alumni, agents of our own mission here at Ben-Gurion University to bring science and health from the Negev to the world in order to improve the lives of individuals and communities. We know that you will be proud of your alma mater as much as we are proud of your accomplishments and achievements, and inspired, really inspired, by your insights and contributions. I would like to take this opportunity to specifically thank your families who supported you as you bravely pursued your goals. I truly, honestly appreciate and admire their spirit and courage, and I feel that they deserve a big round of applause. The renowned physician William Osler once said, as physicians, we should strive to cure a few, help most, but comfort all. I wish you, my young colleagues, good health, good luck, success and satisfaction, and may you help curing most and comforting all wherever you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Carmi. I'd like to invite Professor Tzvi HaKohen to address the audience. Professor HaKohen.
Thank you. Professor Rivka Carmi, President of BGU, Professor Amos Katz, Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Mark Clarfield, Program Director here at BGU, Guest of Honor, Professor Paul Hangin, School of Medicine, Durham University, and former President of the British Medical Association, Dr. Lynn Quittel, MSIH Associate Director in New York, faculty, graduates, families, and guests. Before I came here, I asked Mark, what do you want me to talk about? So he said, I'll ask you to talk for about 3 minutes. So I will be very concise. It's a pleasure to congratulate you on your MD graduation ceremony. And this medical school is really unique. It's not like any other medical school. We tend to use terms like third world, but the world is one. It is more one than ever before. The 1918 flu pandemic was an unusually deadly influenza pandemic, the first of the 2 pandemics involving H1N1 influenza virus. It infected 500 million people across the world and resulted in the deaths of 50 to 100 million people, more or less 3 to 5% of the world's population, making it one of the most deadliest natural disasters in human history. Life expectancy dropped by about 12 years. Fortunately, the number of cross-country travelers at the time was a small fraction of what it is now. This can happen again, and next time it could be much worse. And the world is not ready because the world is self-centered. Regular medical schools take care of their own problems. They don't care about what happens in the rest of the world. A number of diseases, once thought to be unknown or eradicated in the United States, are becoming prevalent again. I'm talking about rare and deadly diseases like tuberculosis, malaria, and leprosy. We're also beginning to see outbreaks of diseases common in third world countries, diseases like West Nile virus and dengue. Medical research caters predominantly for the needs of the affluent world. The pharmaceutical industry spends 60% of its budget on diseases that affect only 10% of the world's population. The major criterion in our capitalistic world is the patient's ability to pay. However, this attitude leaves entire nations amounting to over 1 billion people worldwide under or not at all treated. Not only is this immoral, but it also proves time after time to be a penny-wise and pound-foolish policy. Neglected diseases of the third world can spread at frightening speed and become pandemic diseases. In many cases, the spread of one disease sets the ground for others. Malaria would have been eradicated a long time ago had it been located in affluent parts of the world. Unfortunately, ignoring malaria results in development of mosquitoes that are resistant to all known antibiotics. The unique training that you have received in this special medical school, as well as the moral principles your teachers bestowed upon you, will enable you to be outstanding doctors, taking care of the neediest patients and doing an extremely important work in the forefront of medicine, following the footsteps of medical heroes such as Albert Schweitzer. And on behalf of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, I would like to wish you all a lot of success and the fulfillment of your goals and dreams. Wherever you go, you will be our ambassadors. Shalom.
Thank you, Professor Cohen. Now I would like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Amos Katz.
Well, as a third speaker, I'll try to address a few other issues. Professor Ilfa Karmi, President, Professor Tzvia Cohen, Rector, our guest of honor, Pali Hangin, University of Durham and former President of the British Medical Association, Professor Mark Larfield, Director of MSIH, Dr. Lynn Quettel, Director of MSIH North America, distinguished guests, and last but certainly not least, our 29 graduates. It's hard to believe, but nevertheless, it's a fact that MSIH is presently celebrating its 20th anniversary. It's not the 20th graduate class, but 20th anniversary of the MSIH. MSIH, with its international approach, followed the footsteps of the founding spirits of the Israeli Medical School, which is the Goldman Medical School, which started 44 years ago. And I had the privilege to be in the first class of the Israeli Medical School. Where emphasis is placed on health in the community with patient in the center. This is a perfect opportunity to express my special thanks to Professor Karmi Margulis, who is not presenting here, and Richard Deckelbaum, the founders of the MSIH, Professor Mark Larfield, the director of MSIH, and his entire team, and Professor Alan Yudkovich, who will be replacing Mark in November 2018. You have done a wonderful and inspiring job in spite of many difficulties you encounter over the years. I hope I am not one of the difficulties. And now, a word to our new graduates. On this special day of your graduation, I am sure that each of you is feeling great sense of achievement and pride. The fact that you choose to study in Israel, which is a foreign, multicultural society far from your home, is in itself your first step into the world of medicine and global health. Dear student, you learn to function far from your home, where patients speak strange languages like Hebrew, Arabic, and Russian, often under conditions that were far cry from the milieu of your home surrounding. I'm sure that the many difficulties you have overcame have in many ways enriched your lives, broadened your horizons, and have endowed you with maturity, perseverance, and a sense of achievement. All this and the wide medical knowledge you have attained during your 4 years at the Faculty of Health Sciences, MSIH, and BGU will undoubtedly serve you in the future to become leaders of new kind of medical education that addresses the need of the physicians who are sensitive to personal and population needs, community issues, and global health. We are proud of your formal achievement in match for residency training in some of the world's most prestigious university hospital. We are especially gratitude that some of you are contemplating additional studies in public health and have chosen residency in medicine, pediatrics, family medicine, and surgery. In the current reality of the medical world, where potential income dictate to a large extent career choices, your choice is further proof of your special qualities and dedication to mankind. I wish you all good luck, good health, success, and satisfaction on entering today the wonderful world of medicine. I especially wish to thank your families who, in spite of the understandable apprehension throughout those years, supported you in pursuing your goals. I have every confidence that your Beersheba experience will remain as a landmark in your life. May the skill you have acquired at Beersheba serve and guide you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Katz. And now it gives me great pleasure to invite soon-to-be Dr. Sam Niesman, who will be singing his original composition, Graduation Song, whilst playing a charango, which, according to Wikipedia, is an Andean stringed instrument of the lute family.
Good. This is a song about our class. We came here hoping for answers clear, ate Aviva's cookies, drank Chase's beer. 'Cause it's people that make this place, not the city, the weather or beach camping, though they're all great. It's people that make this place, people that build this house and fill this space. They said don't go, no, it's not safe, but they don't know a Lantimer or Sahar strength. Rockets are falling, are you insane? No, but you don't know how good Kyle's hot pot tastes. YMG's got it hard, you won't find a spot. Tether to Maya's 5 a.m.s and Yoni and Aaron's 50,000 practice questions. Christina's asleep in the front of the class. Haim's on Twitter and Rob's on Tinder. Laura's feeling nervous, but we still matched. Remember King Joffrey at the prom. Dan's dance moves, Jen always had fun. Ash's makeup work and Brian's shirts always came off. Had great gifts along the way. Sarah, Danny, and Natalie. Joyce and Shauna, raising Booba, and Lily's beautiful face. Hannah's a boss, Ava's so kind. Haley can't miss a shot, John brings the fun. A family built on dog piles and potlucks. We came here, hoping for answers clear. Ate of Eva's cookies, drank Chase's beer. Here's its people that make this place, people that built this house and fill this space.
Thank you, Sam and his charango. I would like to call upon Professor Mark Clarfield to introduce our distinguished guest of honor, Professor Pali Hunjan.
That was great. Sam, that was great. That was really cool. I had a thought about whether I should accompany you or not, but I thought it was better if you do it yourself. That was really great. It really is a pleasure tonight to introduce our guest of honor, whom I've known now for a couple of years, Professor Pali Hunjan. So Professor Pali Hunjan moved to the UK from Kenya, where he was born and brought up, studied medicine at the University of Newcastle upon Tyne. Skipping forward just a few years, he was the Foundation Dean of Medicine at Durham University in the UK, and is the recent, as you've heard already twice, now you heard it from me, the past president of the British Medical Association, in case you hadn't heard it. So he is a man of great clinical experience and practice, both in primary and secondary care. So he really has bridged the gap between the town and the gown, between the hospital and the clinic. His research interests include epidemiology, early detection of disease, evidence-based management of long-term disorders. He's published over 100 papers in peer-reviewed journals and edited or contributed to 10 chapters and books. He's currently on the Council of the United European Gastroenterology Federation and the chair of the Rome Foundation of Functional Gastrointestinal Disorders. And yesterday we heard a lovely talk by him about functional disease. And for the non-doctors in the audience, it means the kind of diseases that doctors can find no physical cause for. I think that probably the best quick analogy would be the stomach ache of a child who's nervous about going to school, but it's much broader than that. And he gave a very erudite, interesting, and indeed humorous approach to a very difficult subject. He has a long association with the Royal College of General Practitioners in the UK, and he's been awarded that college's John Fry and William Pickles medals just over the last couple of years. He is busy with other activities. He's a trustee and treasurer of the Royal a medical benevolent fund and membership, and he's a member of the County Priory Group of St. John. Now, you probably don't all know what that is, but that has to do with various charitable activities. And he's going to be, this Shabbat, this Saturday, he's going to St. John's Eye Hospital in Jerusalem to address and I think bring a donation to that hospital. He's also a very thoughtful and thoughtful person and a very entertaining speaker. And it's our privilege and honor to have him address you, our graduating class of 2018. Professor Henson, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you very much, Mark. President, Rector, Dean, but most importantly, yesterday's students, today's colleagues, fellow doctors, welcome. Whenever I say that, I feel a chill, a thrill. I remember the day that I qualified as a doctor, and the Vice Chancellor of our university stepping forward and saying, "Good afternoon, colleagues." We could barely stand still when we heard that word. The transition from being a student to being a doctor is one of the key elemental things that happens in a doctor's life. Frankly, you may be divorced 10 times and have 99 children. You may even have dementia, but you'll remember that you qualified as a doctor and the day that you qualified. In many ways, it's a great relief, of course, as the song told you, 50,000 MCQs to have to revise and go through. What an ordeal. It's never easy being a medical student. It has been said, of course, that you will have worked very hard, but it has also been said that you will have been very hard work. Certainly for your parents and your partners, and I was so delighted, President, when you paid tribute to the parents and all the other supporters of the students. We forget that no one becomes a doctor without the help and the push that comes from the community around them. The thing about becoming a doctor is rather special. It's more than a rite of passage. It's a shift, really, from being a kind of a lay person with knowledge to becoming someone with a very sacred vocation. And perhaps that's an old-fashioned sentiment, and things are changing. But from tomorrow onwards, or from whenever you decide you're going to start your work as a doctor, people will entrust you with their most intimate secrets. They will allow you to examine them, to touch them. In most instances, they will allow you to do things to them, to their bodies, that they would never allow anyone else. They will trust you. This is actually quite scary and not a difficult thing to have to wear on your shoulders. This kind of trust is actually gained very slowly through the medical student years, and then it's cemented with great care over the subsequent role and career of a doctor. So you must remember that. And of course, you will soon start to feel that little funny feeling when you're introduced at parties. This is Dr. Jones or Dr. Cohen. And there's something different about that. Oh, there is a Dr. Cohen here, is there? President, I had forgotten I was in Israel. And that little difference can be quite startling because people somehow expect you to know something different, to feel something different. And it takes quite a while to kind of take on that new persona and decide how you're going to act out that particular role. It's a challenge that I'm sure that you're well up for. But I'm particularly pleased, Professor Clarfield, I'm particularly pleased that you've been the director of this wonderful global health faculty here. That really does matter. It's an old hackneyed phrase, colleagues, but you know, medicine knows no frontiers. Caring, compassion, and commitment has no borders. We are not linked and anchored to one particular spot, caring only for the people immediately around us. Ours is a global commitment which goes back 2,000 years. No doctor can turn around in any other place and say, I'm not for you. Please keep that in mind, and this very special education and training that you've had at this very special place, I hope will imbue you with an ethic that will make you particularly special, so people will say, I think I know where that doctor qualified from. Each of you will have had your own story. Every person in this room has her own story. Every person has come from somewhere. Many people in Israel have come from many different places in the world. My own story is a complicated one. My parents left northern India. Indeed, my grandparents left northern India at the start of the last century in order to get a better life for themselves in a brand new place, East Africa, where there were no roads, there were no railways, there were no cities, and there were no towns. And they were part of a development such that by the time I left, my hometown, Nairobi, was full of skyscrapers, drive-in cinemas, wonderful ice cream parlors, and convertible cars that you could drive around in. And yet, we all know all the difficulties that exist throughout the world in terms of upheaval, politics, unfairness, and persecution. And like many other Asians from East Africa, my family too had to move not because they wanted to, but because we were required to. And there'll be people in this room whose families reflect that experience in one way or another. And I would imagine that if we took a poll this afternoon, there will be more than 50 or 60 countries represented in the backgrounds of the people here. How appropriate, therefore, that each of our own stories and each of us with our 300 or 400 years of history pressing on our shoulders should remember that the thing that matters most is still care and compassion. And for those of you who are familiar with the New Testament will know that in Corinthians it says that you can have many gifts, faith, knowledge, wisdom, but of all these, love is the greatest. And that is something that's worth remembering in this very special vocation of ours. But now, to much more serious matters. I know that one or two of you are going to become orthopedic surgeons. Those of you who are more than 5.5 feet tall, that's about this high, and who weigh more than about 90 kilograms, I suspect you're heading for orthopedics. I just want to tell you about some evidence-based data about orthopedic surgeons. BMJ 1990. Are orthopedic surgeons gorillas? A trial was done where the hand size, the glove size of orthopedic surgeons was measured with the glove size of anesthetists and physicians. And it was shown that there was a statistical correlation between the hand size of a gorilla and that of an orthopedic surgeon. Now, for years, the orthopedic surgeons have regarded the anesthesiologists as being more stupid than they are. But the anesthetists fought back in 2011, again in the BMJ. I told you this is all evidence-based, with a paper entitled, Orthopedic Surgeons, Strong as an Ox and Twice as Intelligent. That's twice as intelligent as an ox. And in this paper, they measured the IQ of orthopedic surgeons and that of anesthetists and physicians, and came up with the conclusion, surprisingly, that the orthopedic surgeons were a couple of points greater than the anesthetists. But the anesthetists actually scored slightly less than average at 98. This proves that there's still hope for a lot of us. Certainly, these two papers have taught me a lot about myself and why I've got to where I am. Believe me, if you've struggled a bit and you don't think you're all that clever, then you're going to be fine, because both humility, insight, and knowing that doctors don't have to be super intelligent will make you a good clinician and will make you understand your patients and the people around you very much better. So keep your sense of humor well grounded. Medicine's not easy. Seeing a baby die, having someone collapse in your arms, and then to find that you've done your best but it didn't succeed, and that perhaps you made some mistakes or you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and that's what led to that disaster. These are all very heavy burdens which we each have to carry, and that's part of that sacred trust that people put in us. It's also part of the price we pay for not being perfect. One of the problems with being at medical school is this need to be perfect. We always pretended at medical school that we knew more than the person next to us. We always pretended that we were working twice as hard as the next person. But actually the fact was that most of us knew only half as much as the next person. But that sense of competition needn't chase you anymore. It's important that you should give yourself time to become the person you really are. If you can remember why you wanted to be a doctor, the reasons that drove you, perhaps from early childhood, perhaps from later, whatever it was in your sense of commitment and care that pushed you towards medicine, try not to let that get squashed too hard. There is a duality in being a doctor. We have, on the one hand, this desire and need to be altruistic. And we have a world around us that's ready to destroy those ideals. And colleagues, I'm afraid that sometimes our ideals are destroyed by our senior colleagues who become embittered, tired, burnt out, and their lack of appreciation of what's happening can be terribly negatively infectious. We begin to marginalize ourselves and think of people as difficult problems when we can't face what they have. We begin to love pathology and hate people with complaints but in whom we can't find anything wrong. That is a true test of your humanity, and I hope you will never, ever fail it. Care, compassion, consideration. So I want to leave you with three very important lessons that Dr. Bill Bryson, the famous American author who was for a while the chancellor of our university in England, used to say. Number one, don't let your degree come in the way of your education. And I think you know what I mean by that. There's a big world out there, and it's more than just medicine. And medicine can only be enriched by a greater awareness of what's happening around. Secondly, take time to be yourselves as individuals. You don't have to be Dr. Kildare or Dr. anybody on television. You can just be yourself. And thirdly, and most importantly, if you see anyone dropping litter, shoot them. And that really is the only advice I can give. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Hunjan. It's clear we are the Medical School for International Health. You've heard so many English accents today. We're all speaking English, yet it must be difficult to keep track. And now for a New York accent. I would like to invite Dr. Lynn Quittel to say a few words on behalf of the growing number of MSIH alumni.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for everybody up on the stage. It's really a pleasure to always be here. And especially thank you and congratulations to our students, and thank you to our guest speaker. That was really wonderful. And congratulations, we're here to honor our graduates and our families. I'm in the fortunate position, as Mark mentioned before, of meeting each of you as applicants, and then watching you develop into physicians over the next 4 years. On behalf of the New York office, and I want to wave to everybody in the office, I want to congratulate each of you and your loved ones who have supported you throughout this journey. Tonight, I'm actually here sort of representing the New York office, but I'm actually representing our alumni who now number greater than 500, at least, right? 550, something like that. Yep. Our alumni are working throughout the world in settings such as academic hospitals. We have people working at the CDC. We have members of our alumni who are in the military doing international health deployment, and they're working in NGOs. The MSIH alumni has developed a vibrant association that has worked to support each other and our school. Tonight, as you receive your diploma, you will also receive a letter from the president of the Alumni Association, Dr. Melissa DeWalt Klein, and a new passport case embossed with the MSIH logo. As I sat here tonight and listened to everybody's talks, there was really one theme that just kept on coming back, and it was the concept of a journey. You have all been on a journey for the last 4 years, and you will really be given the blessed journey of becoming a physician. And that really is a journey for the rest of your life and really a special honor. And as you scatter to the many corners of the earth in your journey to grow your professional and your personal lives, the alumni hope that this new passport case will travel with you as a reminder of your MSIH family. So please keep in touch, keep us posted about your journey, and we really look forward to seeing you. Thank you and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Quatel. I would like to invite Rector, Professor Tzvi Cohen, to read the formal wording of the diploma. Students, please rise.
I hereby declare that you have completed your studies and successfully fulfilled all the necessary requirements in accordance with Ben-Gurion University's Constitution and bylaws, and based on your achievements and on the recommendation of the Council of the Faculty of Health Sciences, right, the Senate of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev confers upon you this day, Thursday, May 24th, 2018, the degree of Doctor of Medicine.
I would like to invite Professor Carmi, Professor Acohen, and Professor Katz to present the MD diplomas to the graduates.
No, wait.
I invite Dr. Clarfield to read the names of the graduates in alphabetical order.
I've practiced this for several weeks, ensuring that I have the pronunciation of every one of your names correct. Any errors or omissions are fully the responsibility of Aaron and Christina. Are we ready to start? Jonathan Amkraut. Eva Chava Bernfeld. Luisa Bonilla Hernandez. How was that? They're not that good. Haley Bossio. Robert Chris. Shauna Danton. Sarah, Caitlin, Rebecca, Fatul. Et al. Love the hat. Aviva Friedman. The doctor. Laura Fruchter. Daniela Herzog. Christina Hunter. Sumatyati Kalamakanan. How was that? Brian Rami Cohen. Jeffrey Kolominsky. Jennifer Lee. Ashley Malka. Joy Moy. Chase Neff. Samuel Nisman. Maya Riley. My pleasure. Sahar Romem. Nathaniel Sieve. Alon Slutsky. Daniel Solomon. Jonathan Taylor. Kyle Tse. Natalie Dawn Vernia. Aaron Zweig. And just to read out, Cyan McFarland was not able to come, but she's part of the class too.
Thank you, Professors Carmi, Hacoin, Katz, and Clarfield. For your information, this is our 16th award ceremony, and we now have 570 graduates. To reiterate what Professor Clarfield said, today's class is quite unique. For the first time, we had a 100% match rate, which is unheard of for our foreign medical schools. And I think they deserve a round of applause. Our announcement of this fact on our website has been viewed 15,000 times since March. So people are paying attention to what's happening here in Beersheba. Before we move on, we have one more surprise diploma to award this year. Someone dear to the MSIH community who has taken only 11 years to graduate. I'd like to invite Professor Clarfield and Administrative Director Leora Nawi to award this very special certificate. I would like to call upon MSIH's very own unidentified flying object, Mr. David Arnstein, to receive his retirement diploma.
I'll read it. Come over here, Uncle David. I'm going to read this diploma, special diploma that Leora and I designed. It says the Medical School for International Health, the director, oh, there's a typo there, of MSIH, upon the recommendation of the staff and with the approval of the student body, have conferred Professor of Examinations upon David Arnstein, having completed more Moadei Aleph and Bet and Gimel than anyone else ever. Signed by myself and Leora. Oh, we have to take a picture.
It now gives me great pleasure to call upon Dr. Aviva Friedman who was chosen by our classmates to make the students' valedictory address.
Hello, distinguished faculty, administration, parents, family, friends, doctors. On behalf of the class of 2018, welcome. Thank you to everyone joining us from near and far on this really exciting evening, including everyone who's watching online. Cyan, everyone say hi, Cyan. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Aviva. Mom, granny, grandma, crazy cat lady. Call me what you will. It's not just because I'm old and wise or because I have bad knees and it takes me like 10 minutes to get up and down the stairs. It's because our class is a lot like a family. As class mom, I have fed your kids cookies and I've watched your babies grow. I remember Jeffrey when he was this big. Look at him now, all muscle. From the outside, our class is much like any other family, a cast of 29 loving and supporting, if not somewhat dysfunctional characters. From bakers, dancers, singers, and painters, to craft beer makers, skateboard video enthusiasts, and aspiring pageant queens, we've got all the ingredients to form a cohesive family, also known as MSH's best class ever. No offense to the other classes here. But what is a family, after all? According to a very reliable source, UrbanDictionary.com, family is the close relationships among a body of human beings through blood, usually are annoying and invasive around the holidays. That's true. Here's another one. This is an anonymous quote. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones who would do anything to see you smile, and the ones who love you no matter what. And then there's my personal favorite discussion of what family is, which was said by the actor Johnny Depp. If someone were to harm my family or a friend or somebody I love, I would eat them. Family is community. From the first few months of first year, it was immediately clear that we had a special bond. Under the tumult of rocket fire, we learned each other's phone numbers in the process of creating an emergency phone tree to text each other that we were safe. We mostly lived within a 3-block radius of one another and could quite literally yell into each other's windows from across the street, and we did. In the pressure cooker chaos of medical school, we'd spend hours, days, and weeks together eating, drinking, cramming impossible amounts of information into our brains, and occasionally hyperventilating on the floor and crying together. Then, of course, we'd celebrate after our many exams by doing as the locals do, eating copious amounts of hummus with refill, and going camping on the beach. We'd wear matching themed outfits and take trips together to Hungary, London, Amsterdam, Egypt, and beyond. We'd spend afternoons playing pickup basketball and nights watching weird anime and idiosyncratic documentaries about cats. We'd dog sit and cat sit for each other and sit down to enjoy potluck Shabbat dinners. And then we'd fight each other to the death in MSH's annual bake-off. Jonathan, congratulations again. We'd run 5Ks and 10Ks and spot each other at the gym, which is how I learned that leg day is actually a thing outside of anatomy lab. We survived bed bugs, dog bites, bike thefts, and extremely loud soccer game wins. We celebrated engagements and birthdays, only 195 days until Louisa's birthday. And we danced at each other's weddings. Being a part of this family has taught us to be patient, patient with our patients and patient with each other. Living in Israel is a lesson in patience for everyone, after all, the first lesson being that lineups don't actually exist and personal space is just a North American construct. Undoubtedly, studying medicine in Israel has presented us with incredible hurdles. As if learning medicine wasn't hard enough, we've had to do it in 2 languages, becoming skilled at performing patient exams in Hebrew, with a side of broken Arabic and some crafty hand signals, too. Some of us came here fluent in Hebrew. Others, impressively, walk away knowing a whole new vocabulary, including a complete patient interview, and of course, more importantly, how to ask where the free food is kept in the staff kitchen. All of this learning required extra patience, including from those who helped their classmates by translating along the way, so thank you for that. And this is also an opportune moment to thank, on behalf of our class, our friends and families who have been incredibly patient with us over the last 4 years as we've missed weddings and parties and listened to us as we verbalized our hopes and fears, and most importantly, believed that we would eventually get to here. So thank you for that. Family is solidarity and inclusivity. We were the first class to incorporate 5 languages into our very personal physician's oath ceremony. We often fight over who's going to hold Sarah's baby so she can go to the bathroom. We seem to enjoy spending time together too, and in fact, every event, from the wine festival to bonfires to rock climbing to dance parties at the popular but peculiarly named Club Donkeys, has always been an open invitation to all. Lacking a traditional North American-style white coat ceremony, we even celebrated on our own by watching each other withdraw our first white coats from the hospital vending machine. We stood together through some pretty incredible moments too. We stood shoulder to shoulder in the hospital as new lives came into the world. Our faces sometimes flushed and our eyes widened at the sight of a new baby and its accompanying episiotomy, which for some of us was a deciding factor to go into psychiatry. We also watched perilously as lives left us, as we stood together again on new, uncharted territory. Family is honesty and closeness, both literally and figuratively. When you live in such close quarters, you learn everything that there is to know about each other. As the class GI expert, for example, I know everyone's personal bathroom issues and associated health issues, but don't worry, your secrets are safe with me. And the same can be said of our patients. We get to know everything there is to know about them. Ani studenti lirefua, I'm a medical student, we tell them, which somehow was enough to lend us the utmost authority and trust with them. Soon we'd be hearing every intimate detail of their immigration story, their work lives, their love lives, and they'd have seized on the opportunity to set us up with their nice Jewish sons. True story. Growing that close inevitably also makes separating that much harder, despite being experts in adaptation and change. Just when we were settling in and getting comfortable learning medicine together in Israel, we were ripped apart from each other, shotgunned back to America into a surreal reverse culture shock. We were shaken awake as we realized that we were now alone and had forgotten basic English, that apparently it's pronounced trachea, not trachea, as we'd been led to believe, and that there are at least 1,000 new medical acronyms that we have to learn. But luckily, through it all, we've kept in touch through a long-running WhatsApp conversation, a 4-year journal capturing the story of a thriving family and a life well lived in the dusty desert of southern Israel. So now, our expensive 4th-year vacation is over. You have by now likely forgotten most of the medicine you tried so hard to learn, but at least you're skilled in the art of distinguishing whether the cries outside of your window are coming from a baby in distress or a cat in heat. We now turn from awkward medical students into awkward interns. Anachnu rafim, we are doctors. This is a moment many of us have dreamed of for a long time. My mother, for example, has been hoping for a doctor baby since I was born. But as it turns out, having been a doctor for only 5 minutes makes it hard to give advice on how to be an effective physician. Luckily, I've actually been writing the speech for 4 years, collecting all the advice you've given me to help me cope with my crippling anxiety so that I can now throw it back in your faces. If you're like me, which luckily most of you aren't, intern year will be rough. You will feel less smart than everyone else. You will question everything you thought you knew. You will fall hard, and then you will go home and cry and debrief with your new cat, Pecan. But failure is okay. It is how we learn and grow. And one time, a long time ago, you started medical school and you felt the same way. You've come a long way. Progress can be slow, but you will progress. If you don't try, you will never grow. Remember to maintain a sense of humor, be humble, go easy on yourself. Remember your strengths, whether it be doing chest tubes, reading EKGs, or when all else fails, baking banana bread to impress your attendings. Be proud. This has been the longest, hardest job interview that you will ever have, and you earned this spot. You are resilient. Work hard, but find balance. Take the love and patience that we have shared in our little family and bestow it on others. And of course, make time for your family, whatever shape it may take. At her bachelorette party the other evening, as all of the girls in our class were celebrating Sahana's pending nuptials, she said something very apt. Our family is like an Indian family, she said, that we might be separated for years and years, but that when we reconnect even years later, we won't hesitate to come into each other's houses to use the toilet. I hope she's right. Thank you again, and congratulations to the class of 2018.
Thank you, Dr. Friedman. Prior to concluding, it is customary for our school to present some special awards. I call upon Associate Director of Student Affairs, Dr. Asher Moser, to join me on the stage.
As far as I know, I'm also Canadian and a male. I think my socks match. I'm not really sure about that. I have the honor to introduce the recipients of a number of awards. The first ones will be the Gold Humanism Honor Society Awards. Those who already know it, they can start their way up. The GHSS is an international initiative that honors both medical students and physicians who have demonstrated extraordinary commitment to service. Through both peer and faculty nominations, students are selected at the end of their third year, so they already know for the past year that they've been elected. They are identified by their unique humanistic approach and compassion in caregiving. We are delighted to announce that this year, from MSIH doctors, Eva Chava Bernfeld, Aaron Zweig, Luisa Bonilla, Sumati Kalamantaram, Joy Moy, and Sar Ormem. Take one of them. And if you didn't get the right one, wait, stand here. Have been elected as class inductees for their work and commitment to humanism. I will read out the oath, and I would ask you to acknowledge me by answering a minute. Wait with the pictures. Why are you smiling? I pledge. Hey, guys, me. You have to look at me. I'm the important one, for a moment. I pledge, by all that I hold dear as a physician, I'll read the whole oath. I will care for my patients with compassion, respect, empathy, integrity, and clinical excellence. I will listen to my patients with my whole being. I will advocate for each patient as a unique individual. I will serve as a role model, a mentor to promote humanism in healthcare. I will remember always the healing power of acts of caring, and I will dedicate myself to joining with others to make healthcare optimal for all. Yes, you agree. Thank you very much. The next award I want to present is the Sakal Kiev Award. This award is to honor our fellow and colleague, the late Dr. Sakal Kiev, a graduate of the 2017 class. Truly, we all loved him, a unique man from a loving family. As his wife, Faith, who was here last year with her 5 children to present this award, has so perfectly put in words, this award is intended for one who has joy in the studying of medicine, one who shows great value to human life, one who can brighten the lives of those around him or her while living life to the fullest. The wording is intentionally put in the present tense. It's not a past tense. The Sakal Kiev Award is given to a student who can be identified as one who can understand during the schooling years that the true role of what is behind the title of physician, the MD, is the greater form of the healer, the person behind it. For the nomination, this class of 2018, as well as all the staff and faculty, were asked to identify the most worthy candidates. The person who is honored this year has shown all of the above, no hesitation, all the qualities, while working very hard towards her academic success. From Roseville, Minnesota, please, Dr. Moy Joy. Right, there's more. The Richard Deckelbaum Award for Global Health Excellence This is an annual award we started a couple of years ago to recognize and to honor Professor Deckelbaum, who had an immense contribution in this field to the MSIH community. And ever since, we have excellent candidates. This year we had difficulty in choosing one because we had two outstanding ones, one from India and one from Colombia. Dr. Luisa Bonilla Hernandez and Dr. Sumakita Calamacan. Please. And last, but definitely not least, maybe the more prestigious award that we give here, the Kari Margolis Award for Clinical Excellence. Professor Margolis could not be here with us this year, so I will do the honors instead of him. This award is given to the graduating student who has been noted once and again, many, many times, for his or her unique clinical insight and skills. There's many criteria on which this award is granted, and it's a very complex mathematical equation. The evaluations that we received from the preceptors of the clinical clerkships, both here and your electives abroad. The OSCE exams, those are the clinical skills that one is supposed to perform that take place throughout the course of the studies, mainly in third year. The part 2 of the USMLE, the clinical knowledge and skills that all of you have taken in the United States. And the cross-evaluation of the class is reflected in the Gold Humanism Honor Society questionnaire. We had, again, a number of outstanding candidates for this award. The recipient of this year is one who found that the most difficult question to answer on our application form was, where do you come from? So from the Netherlands, Israel, Slovakia, and the United States of America, we today honor Dr. Eva Chava Bernfeld. Very, very much.
Almost there. Before I ask Professor Alan Jodkiewicz to announce this year's outstanding teacher, I'd ask Professor Clarfield to say a few words about 3 dear friends and colleagues who we lost this year.
Yes, thank you, Mike. This is a very sad part, and I'm sorry to bring us all down. It'll be brief, but still, we lost 3 dear members of our community, our family. Where is Aviva? Where are you? It really felt like we lost family members in this school. Dr. Leslie Lobell, this was on the last month, of the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Genetics of BGU. He was a world-renowned expert on Ebola virus. He coordinated the micro course for a number of years and taught hundreds of MSIH and BGU students over the years. Dr. Amir Ganiel, a surgeon and specialist in intensive care, coordinated our third-year class for 10 years. He was a world-class swimmer who held more than 1 Israeli national swimming award. And like Leslie Lobell, Amir was taken from us at a very early age. They will both be greatly missed. From our US team, Alice Mahoney, passed away in April. She was with MSIH from the very beginning. Is that right, Lynn? Right from the very start. So 20 years she was with us. And served as the admissions and electives coordinator in the US. She was the first point of contact for anyone interested in MSIH and will be remembered fondly by all staff, students, and graduates. May all of their memories be blessed.
Indeed, they'll all be sorely missed. Now I'd like to call upon Professor Alan Jodkiewicz, our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, to announce this year's outstanding teacher.
I'd like to add my congratulations to this amazing class of 2018. It's been an honor and pleasure to work with you guys. Every year, MSH gives an award for excellence in teaching. This year, the person who wins this award really has been with MSH since the start, I think, certainly before I came, and wears 2 hats at MSH. This year's award for excellence in teaching is Professor Yoam Yargil. Professor Yargil, we felt, deserves the award for 2 reasons. He reinvigorated the nephrology course, changing the nature of the course from a lecture-based to a case-based presentation, which students found amazing. And also, for 20 years, has been our liaisons to Barzilai Medical Center, which the outstanding clinical care is noted by all the students who went there, and that's really due a lot to Professor Yargil for being our contact person. So it was presented to Professor Yoam Yargil in recognition with a deep appreciation for excellence in teaching at the Medical School for International Health. Professor Yargil.
I call upon Dr. Clarfield to conclude our ceremony.
Thank you, Mike. So once again, I'd like to give a special thanks to our staff for running this whole thing. Administration, for those of you who are in it, is a very interesting form of work because when things work well, nobody knows that it's working well, and that's what good administration is. When things go wrong, it's quite obvious. So I think the way that this ceremony was run is pretty typical of our school. It was pretty, we make mistakes, we're human beings, but for the most part, this school runs extremely well and brings out extremely good students, and it's due, again, I must say, to the hard work of our faculty and our staff. So I want to thank them again. And in particular, for this particular evening, I want to thank Leora and Anat for running this, as always, beautifully. And you'll see outside, what happens outside is basically Anat's work, and we thank her so much for the food and the wine and the way it's run in particular. Bava. So graduating class, if you could stand up, please. This is the moment you're waiting for. I'm going to say 3 numbers in basic Hebrew. I know you're all fluent. At the end of that count, I want you to do what you know you have to do. Ready? Exactly. 1, 2, 3.
Could I ask Dr. Nathaniel Sieve to accompany us in the singing of the National Anthem, Hatikva? Audience, please rise.
Just go, music. Is there music? No? All right.
Okay, let's go.
Kolot balevav penima Nefesh Yehudi homia Ulfateh Mizrach kadima Ayin Letzion Tzofia Od lo avda tikvatenu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים Chaim.
The audience is requested to remain in place until the academic procession has left the auditorium. Can we have music, please? Muzika, bevakasha. Graduates, you may now leave the auditorium. Thank you all for coming, and warm wishes to the class for continued success.